our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared, and the soul felt His word. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder praise a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh hear the angel voices, who night divine, whole night when Christ was born. Oh night. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till He appeared, and the soul felt His word. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder praise a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh hear the angel voices, who night divine.
So I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago when Chipotle invented queso. They made a huge deal of it. They must have spent like, I don't know, probably millions of dollars advertising their invention of queso. And I kind of thought like, man, I've been eating queso for years. You're a little late to the party. I think sometimes when we hear the Advent calendar piece, depending on what background you grew up, maybe you grew up non-church, maybe you grew up in a not liturgical piece, and you're like, I don't understand what the Advent calendar piece is and how this works. Some of us grew up in a more liturgical background, and we're like, duh, we're like, why is it waiting so long? The purpose of this Advent, both the wreath making and the devotionals and the Bible studies, is that as we're going towards the birth of Jesus, that we are preparing not just the gifts and not just the festivals and not just the parties, but we're preparing our hearts to worship. And that we're being deliberate and methodical. And this is an awesome opportunity. Maybe you've done the Advent calendar every year for the last 50 decades, and you're good to go, okay? I think it's an awesome practice because you're obviously doing it. And if this is, you're like, hey, I've never done the Advent calendar, it's new to me, I'm not sure how to do it. Maybe you're not in a rhythm of doing like regular devotions, or you are doing personal devotions, but you don't know how to do family devotions or devotion time as a couple. Like, this is an awesome opportunity to engage and to start this. There's resources available. Even the making of the wreaths, it's not a magical piece, but it's a reminder as we're going through that month of December is what we're really preparing for. And I think all of our hearts can easily get sucked into all this extra stuff that goes on, and we miss the whole reason behind that. So if you're saying, hey, like it's about time we've done something in Advent, then lead the way, right? You know, if you've been like, we've been waiting for this, lead the way. And if you say, I'm not sure, I've never done this, I would love for you to just take a risk, participate, join in, and I think it'll be really good for your heart and for your soul this season. So that's kind of my plug for Advent. I'm personally excited for me, for my family, and I hope that's something you'll join us in as well. So today we kind of have this gap period between the book of Acts and Thanksgiving season. And I was just thinking and sort of meditating on that and praying about how to utilize that time well. One of the things that kind of came to my mind was that Thanksgiving is a time where I think ideally we want to be thankful out of like overflow, and there's just so many things. Like it's sort of this feeling that sort of bubbles up, that we're just like, we are so thankful. Like, and someone comes to us and like, we're like, how are you doing? You're like, #blessed, and we love that. I don't know if they use that song, but we just love that, and that's an awesome feeling, and that's not a bad thing, right? But I think sometimes we kind of think, well, if I'm not there, like Thanksgiving is not for me, or I'm going to take a pass on it. You're like, well, the history of Thanksgiving is, and so we kind of are like, well, it's not for me. And what I want to look at this morning is Psalm 23. And maybe hopefully lift our eyes. It's been a passage that God's been using in my heart quite a bit over the last several months. And lift our eyes above like the stuff and sort of the circumstances and the people and the difficulties and the economy and the elections that are thankfully over, and so we don't have to see any more ads, and really tune our hearts, adjust our hearts to really what we should be thankful for in the first place. And that's our Savior. So a simple message this morning from Psalm 23, maybe even more just a personal reflection with you guys. But this is a Psalm of David. People debate kind of when it's written. Most